So I keep pausing off video, but in our live shared space, we'll take little pauses together while we're still live on the Blue Jeans platform. So like I was saying, I'm taking these teas, adding them to rum, making tinctures. So I made about 4 tinctures. Love it. I realized I like my womb tea, like having a tea. It works really well in the moment, and usually my uterus likes the warmth, or I can hold my cup to my uterus and my ovaries and things like that, or on my thighs. So I was thinking about that, so I made a smaller tincture to kind of try it out because I've never really used it, so I also don't want to rule it out. Just because this works and feels great doesn't mean this won't. So I made a tincture. I'm partnering with rum. You can use vinegar, you can use wine, any kind of distilled alcohol. You can use honey. So then I want to tell you about the oils. So I've got duck fat. I also use pig fat. I'm like migrating to the duck world. I'm loving. Ducks are just so fatty, and I have one in my refrigerator that I'm going to cook up, and I just don't add any seasonings and capture the fat that runs off of the duck. Just pour it off every 15 minutes to a half hour. Okay, I'm going to do that soon, and I'm so excited. Okay, so we've got this womb tea. Oh, and I also wanted to show you this. So this is where I originally captured the duck fat maybe a month ago. I don't really use it, but it grew like a little mold. And that can happen if there's like a little bit of skin particles or duck meat, anything like that in the process. And I just transferred it to a clean jar without touching the parts that had that mold built up. And I will heat this up. And I've never had another problem, right? Sometimes just in the packaging things happen and you can work around it. So I've got my clean jar, my duck fat, my clean lid. And I use this to navigate out of here exactly a route that was sanitary. So in here I have sarsaparilla, red clover, melissa, lemon balm, motherwort, frambuesa, raspberry leaf, and oat straw. So this, I'm going to mark it. And this is why the parts is great too, because it doesn't matter how big you're making something, right? If this is what's being infused, it's 3 parts. So I break this into thirds. And then, and then I just add 1 part of herbs. Great, so I marked that so I know where I'm at. Add in my herbs. And so if I was doing an oil that was like sunflower oil or something like that, that is usually, I don't know if this is thin, but kind of more melted. And right, this is duck fat. You have the more melted and the more solid. And then this is the pig fat, which heats at a higher temperature. So you definitely have to boil this with the herbs in it so that it infuses. And I just keep it in here, put a cloth at the bottom of my pot, and do kind of like a double boil type scenario. Filling the water bath about this high. Not letting it boil, but just definitely be warm for a few hours. You can also put it in the sun or things that help like that. Maybe in a paper bag in the sun or just in a really warm place. out of direct sunlight. Where was that marker? I've done too much, but it was which happens. So I will, well, I'm going to use this to figure out how much I'm over. I don't think I am. Why do I keep losing this mark? Okay, so I just pat it all down because it can be fluffy. I think it's fine. I'm not going to add anything to it. I just want a little bit of this. It's going to be strong. Look at that. And I have a reasonable amount left over for a few months of tea, and I pretty much only use it maybe for a day when I ovulate, and then the 5 days while I bleed. So this is a few months worth, getting like a teaspoon or two per cup. I did make all of those. I told you about adding to liquid. I have some other kind of like base liquids and remedies that once it's strained, I'll add into it to kind of give it a little boost or point it in a direction. And when you warm it, it expands a little bit. Which usually helps get this regulated. So it's Luna Nuevo. This needs some heat. So I just make notes on here or in my book and then put a more clear label once I've strained it and bottled it. So that's that. I also need to do a circadian oil, but I don't have all the plants that I want to use for that. And same with pelo hair oil. I've got the castor oil and the duck fat and the pig fat, but I need rosemary. So I just wanted to show you one oil. That's the one I'm prepared for today. And how you can have the same blend as a tea, as an oil, and as a tincture. Just figuring out what works best for your body and you. So that's my medicine making practice, and kind of in a flurry what it looks like. And you know, even though I don't really like making bulk medicine, I do make bulk medicine for myself. I also have a smoke blend that I need to work on and just got all those ingredients for. Okay, you want to make the smoke blend? Okay, well, let's take another little pause. I'll gather all the smoke blend things and we'll have a little more fun. I also, drinking my tea.